Can stand the test of time, so everything shall be revealed. Hey, just wait a while. So arm in arms, we're working very hard. Yeah, the more you give, it seems the more the man he wants. Oh yes, we were such good friends. Now what have we become? Said I'll have to use good sense, knowledge and wisdom to understand how man to man can be so unjust. I just don't know who to choose. You can go your way, I will go my own. Say the love of Almighty Jah will lead me.
Yes, in this time of confusion, you don't know what information to trust. But nonetheless, we have the confidence, we have the victory, prophecy must be fulfilled, revelation is being revealed, and whose time is up means that them time is done.
Friends are few who really care, and yes, I'd be a fool if I didn't know that. Every action will cause a reaction in my eyes. Said reaction can be a blessing in disguise. So I'll go on and I won't compromise. No way. More strength for the wise. You can go your way, I will go my own. Say the love of the Almighty Jah will lead me on.
Yes, more strength to the wise, you know. The people enough to be wiser in this time. Your eyes have to be open. Yeah, trust me, coronavirus is a blessing in disguise. You see me? But we have to be mindful as to the trick. You know, that one which we've already exposed it. Their intention is to inject we. No matter what them say, all them are going to do, they want to try and make we get so desperate to get out of our own front door that we are going to say, bring it come, you know. Bring it come, give it, we take it, you understand? Those of us who want travel, say the same thing them set for we. You understand? So, them set for them trap, but it's like we fly the trap long time. You understand? So, peeps, me a beg you no. No make them fool honor.
So arm in arms, we're working very hard, yeah. The more I give, it seems the more the man he wants. Yes, he does. I'm gonna push on to the things I do. Yes, I will. You can go your way, and I will go my own. Say the love of the Almighty Jah will lead me on. You can go your way.
Yeah, man, I that enough to tell them. Them can go for them way. You understand? We are going to go for we way. Yeah, because the hands of the Father, God Almighty, is with us. He will lead us on. Yeah? On and on, because we are strong. Yeah? But as much as me I tell you, say, don't make them fool, oh no. We are going to tell you, say, you know, it's like me falling in one of them trap. I falling in one of them trap Monday, you know. Yeah? I falling in one of them trap, man. You know, and me I going to tell you, you know, how me falling in this trap. Yeah? I go for one interview on Monday. You know, I don't know where me go for it, you know, but I go for it nonetheless. Yeah? And this is how them set the thing. Them say, before you even go through any form of tests or familiarization with the job itself, it's just a driving job still, you know, because that is like my fallback in most cases, you know, because when you have a certain spirit, you find that you're on certain employers can't work, yeah? Because you give, and the more you give, is the more them want, yeah? But anyway, I go for this thing, and them tell me, say, all right, them all give me, it was subject to drugs and alcohol tests. You understand? So I say, well, boy, I don't see nothing wrong with that, you know. So me go. Yeah, and when I go, and I think this was Monday. Yeah, this was on Monday. Up there in Enfield. Yeah, and I got for this, I got for this interview, aka RSF test. Yeah, so yeah, I'm going and sit down with a few people. Yeah, them give me one paper, and to all the paper read, never see nothing wrong with that because yeah, them don't tell you say you gotta take the test. Yeah, but as was the case previously with the eye inspection, if you read the small print, maybe, or if me did read the small print, would I probably detect it and see it. But nonetheless, never really pick up on it. Yeah, so we sit down, we sign the paper, yeah, and we did there wait. Whilst we are wait, them come around with a gadget. Them say blowing night. Yeah. So me blowing night. Yeah, no problem. Yeah. Then them come round now and them start. Them tear out one thing, yeah. Take in a little kind of plastic sealed container. And then them tear it and give it to the first person who up on the other side because to all the setup workout more is gonna be the last one. Yeah, and them start work their way around, But this thing I look very much like what you'd have called the COVID test with the swab. Yeah? And with this swab now you have to put it in your mouth. Yeah? And at the end of it have the cotton bud. Yeah. So I am start go around and after they reach 2 or 3, I think you had to have it in your mouth for about 5 minutes. No, it was 5, but it seemed a long time. Yeah, and ordinarily now when you give a drugs test, you expect to put a sample in a buckler or something like that. But this time now, they're actually encroaching, intruding on your own personal self. You know what I'm saying? And from me, so that me know say something wrong, but because I done sign the paper already, so me have to just work out how I'm going to get out of this. Yeah? So we start ask question, I start take pictures of things and would have put them off. Yeah, but so what them say alright, it's a cheaper way. But at the end of the day, I never agree with it. And up to now I still not agree with it. It's an issue thing that I'm gonna bring to my MP's attention because I think they're really taking liberties. But I have to say still, I fall for it. But then the long and short I think is like them do them tests. I did it came back negative. Yeah. But me never like it, and to be honest, there was side effects to that test. Yeah, that me now go step on the ear. You understand? But I'm gonna bring it to the attention of my MP. Yeah, because me think so them damn out of order. You understand? I think them was taking liberties and for what it is, yeah, I don't think we should be subjected to them kind of things because me don't know what kind of hurry them in. You understand? If they want to wait a day or two in order to get their sample, but I don't have no problem with that. You understand? But I thought I'd share that with you. So just be on the lookout. Those of you who may well go in for a driving job, yeah, that they have a test out there, which is, as far as I'm concerned, that is just the said same COVID test in disguise. Yeah, so if you don't want to avoid it, make sure you read the small print. Yeah, because I think maybe I'd neglected that part. Yeah, and to be honest, before you even got to the test, ask them about what it entails. Yeah, because I'm going to try trap and set trap for people. Yeah, so I thought I'd just share that with you now. Yeah, initially. Yeah, but I've got my guest, which is due in the next, say, half an hour. Yeah, so whilst I go on, let me just do my things, which is to greet you now. And obviously, I'm hoping that you've all had a fantastic week. I hope that you were quite pleased in that we had all survived and say the month of October, which they said was our Black History Month, but that is contestable. I hope that yourselves participate as best as possible because again, everything now you have to just zoom in. Yeah, where I had been somewhat reluctant to engage, I found myself having to do one. this week, which I think was Tuesday. I did one as part of the Black History Month put on by Eric, Enfield Racial Equality Council. And we were pleased or honored also to have Jacqueline McKenzie from the Windrush Action Group, with a solicitor lawyer. She was on there. So I was quite pleased, obviously, to be able to participate, because I think the last time I'd met with her, we were at the House of Commons. So I must commend her for the good work she continues to do insofar as addressing the issues around the Windrush displacable, or, well, you'd see the government, they're still up to it, because I forgot what country it is, if it's Fiji, one of them other islands, they're being subjected to the same situation in the soldiers. They're having to be paying some exorbitant amount of money just to get the right, or to have the rights to abode or to stay in this country. And you'd think that they would have learned some lessons already, but obviously they clearly have not. So that seemed to be an ongoing fiasco, that they may well need our support. But again, it's a case where sometimes you think to yourself you're immune, because you think you're a little bit more privileged than us from Africa and the Caribbean. You know what I'm saying? But this is how the system, how Babylon system operates. It divides us in order to rule us. And then when you isolate yourself and they pull the rug from underneath your feet, you don't have no support. Yeah? But those of you who are associated with these latest victims, we need to just rally our efforts together, because together we're stronger. Yeah? But anyway, without me rabbit on, let me first pay my foremost and utmost respect to our ancestors, on whose shoulders I do stand. Yeah, and I'm also privileged to say that I'm not too long, really. Today, this afternoon, I was down Windrush Square in Brixton, with some of my brothers and sisters, beating the drums in anticipation, well, not anticipation, but in recognition and as well as giving thanks, for their sacrifice. And I think we stopped more or less at 3 o'clock. Well, to be honest, the rain started a little drizzling. It's like a forewarning. And, we had been down there. I got down there a little after 12 o'clock, so I was there for a good period of time. And, yeah, a good time was that. People came by, passed by, stopped, paid their respect. Some dance, some, well, it was more pleasurable to see people dancing. Some gave good comments. Some also made some little contributions by way of donations. Some of them stayed with us through the duration of the time that we were there. So again, our ancestors, I'm sure without no doubt, were quite pleased, As well as that, obviously, I'd like to thank management as well as the engineers for making this program possible, and for Bless to enable me to know myself, and also for you also to know thyself. So we're wanting for you to stay blessed, because this will be the benefit of us all, within our community. Yeah. My respect goes out to the kings and queens out there active in the fight for justice, because as we say, with no justice there can be no peace. And again, as I've said, it's been quite a busy week, because I make it a point of engaging myself within the community, and in some cases even to demonstrate, as was the case, I made myself a living example by going through this test, and I can tell you, obviously, because who feels it knows it. Yeah, so I'm warning you about this test out there which is pending if you're going to do driving. Yeah, as to make sure you're clued up and be prepared as to whether you're going to take this test, or if there's an alternative, because I think we should always be given an alternative. Otherwise, they're going to use it against you and by saying that you do not comply. Okay, so just be mindful of that. As times get harder and harder and the need for money increases, these are the things that you're going to be subjected to. Okay. Right. Further, I'd like to salute the soldiers and the generals on the front line, taking the stand, not kneeling or bowing at this time. And again, this week I've seen a couple of soldiers step up. I've saw Leroy Logan, because obviously the stop and search scenario, it continues. Okay, the matrix continues, which again, you know, the matrix is none other than the General Stafford. Yeah, so that continues, and again, that's why a couple weeks back I just put myself out on a limb and say, listen, certain things that certain people are going with, we can't allow them things if we go on. You understand? We have to nip them things in our bud, because you see, this Babylon system like to use individuals who they know are gullible, you know, who have ego behind for them status. You understand? So we have to burn them kind of things there. Okay? So remember me telling you that. Yeah? Respect again to, like I was saying, the generals on the front line who now kneel, now bow. Yeah? And also to the family, the Joy Gardner family, for their enduring strength, and to those who give their support to their causes. Yeah? And Mr. G, yeah, it was good to hear from you this week. And Mr. G is Joy Gardner's son. Yeah? Glad to know you have your own base. You understand? So obviously you have the ultimate responsibility. So do your thing. Okay? The Windrush generation, again, I've mentioned because of the link this week with Jacqueline or Miss Mackenzie from the Windrush action. You understand? So big up yourself, manners and respect for your team who are doing this good work out there. And for the spirited support that we continue to give each other, particularly in this month that's been. You understand? I say personally, I don't see anything I can say I can celebrate about within my community. You understand? Because we are somewhat lagging. Yeah, our council do not represent the community. I don't even know who to say represent us presently, because they don't seem to understand what representation really means. Yeah. And again, obviously, I'll pay my respect to my brethren, my brother Omawale Rupert M. Uro, who again, we were over in the Windrush Square today. And obviously, our dedication insofar as attaining or getting to that 1,000 drums. Okay? And I'm mindful also that our sister in Griot, Chineri, they were over, I believe, in the woods yesterday. And again, similar to our situation, I think theirs were more favorable actually, because we had rain up until the time when we supposed to be there, but the rain started in the morning and then the breeze came and blew it, and then the sun, I think, actually shined for them. Yes, I'm taking it that yourselves had a good time yesterday. So we salute yourselves, queens and princesses, for your gallant effort. I hope it was full joy. And again, tomorrow being the coronation, which is taking place out there in Gloucestershire, as was said by our good brother last week, Ras Chubby, who was in the studio with me. Yes, I hope you've had the details, because I'm not giving any more details on that. Just hope that yourselves have sorted yourselves out. It looks as though I may well be driving myself. Yeah, so, yeah, we look forward to the full joy, which is going to be taking place tomorrow. Okay? Right, now, insofar as our agenda for the evening, as I think I've said, I've got Galactic Clyde is going to be with us in, let's say, the next 10 minutes or so. Yeah? But in relation to the rest of the week, right, now... Well, I don't know where to set to, but I think some of you would have at least received a video from a brother, a good brother out in the community that covered the front page of the Metro. Yeah, and that dealt with Corbyn. They say, obviously, the ex-leader or the former leader of the Labour Party, Jeremy Corbyn, is now being binned. And he gave his reasons, which you could see the propaganda that was being circulated in the media as well as in the press. Now, I concur with my good brother. I agree with him. Yeah, I do and truly believe that our former leader has been given a hard deal. You know, they've really been gunning for him, but they'd been doing this prior to the election because I know, well, I personally feel that had they not been on him in the way that they have, and this no doubt demonstrated, they want to be rid of him completely because, you know, our present leader, and I'm saying our because obviously, you know, I've gone back to join Labour, and I joined back Labour because of Jeremy Corbyn. I'm not afraid for telling her that because I know where this brother stands, where he rests. You understand? He's a socialist. You know what I'm saying? He's not racist, anti-Semitic. None of them things that don't apply to this man. You understand? So I can't understand how this party can suspend him and not suspend everybody else. You understand? Because what that means is that they have not carried out his demands, yeah, effectively in order to prevent his accusers now to be pointing the finger at him. You understand? So you out there, you know what I say to that. Effectively, I'm saying enough is enough. Or if you want to go stronger than that, then you know what I say. RASS and S to you. You understand? Now, following on from that, you know, you then have the Labour leader, yeah, go on now and suspend the man. Yeah, I know what kind of foolishness that. You understand? Now, I want to know if there isn't a conflict there. Because I know this leader, our present leader, his wife is one of them. Yeah? Now, I don't even know if by me saying that make me anti-Semitic. And I ain't even said that she is a Jew. You understand? So, we know he's in bed with them. Yeah? To the full, to the max. Yeah, you understand? So, I don't know where this party think themselves are going, yeah? Because, listen, you know, those who say they are what they know they are not, yeah? You need to just not listen. When the time is up, there's no sense in kicking the can down the road and then you take our leader with you know, and make him play fool, yeah? That don't make no sense. It not fool me. It not gonna fool our black community. You understand? Because since when is anti-Semitism more important than racism? Look on all of your failings. Institutional racism. Look on the Windrush. What happened? A blind and a blind? You understand? Don't bother think so now carry on kicking this can up the road. It not gonna work. Yeah? Prophecy is being fulfilled. Yeah? This COVID thing that Una try tell we say it out there. Okay, it may well be out there, but it's no way different from the common flu. You understand? But if we go take your injection now, you're going to make it worse. You understand? So historically, we know fauna germs always wipe out all of the indigenous races. You understand? So the need to just take care of ourselves. Yeah? And then further on to that now, we have the rain of Jamaica. Yeah? The rain of wash of Jamaica. But coronavirus is like, coronavirus insists now on staying to get dengue fever. Yeah? Now what a thing. Yeah? Now more time I have to tell you, I have to laugh, you know. And so much so now, yeah, I have to wonder to myself now, I talk a work about wearing mask in the rain, given that rain fall so heavy that you can't even carry an umbrella. Yeah? How that how go work? You know what I'm saying? So I'm baffled, my people. You know, I'm baffled. You know what I'm saying? But it is the way, or it is what it is. Yeah, yeah. So we're down now to Saturday now. Yeah, we have the other side now, the other madman. Yeah. I mean, I tell you, say, I just imagine when Boris inherited, when he win the election, he really must start saying they really in for a good time with such a majority. And right now, this majority, it not seem to apply because it's pure madness. Yeah, it's pure madness a go on. Yeah, so on Saturday now, it's like we're held in suspense for about 2 hours. Yeah, for another new regime change. And again, at the end of it, what happens? You have further confusion. Yeah? Because the confusion now is that the whole thing now has been delayed until Thursday. Yeah? And they're telling you not to panic. Yeah? So you're having until Thursday not to panic, but you must obviously take what your essentials are. Yeah? Because, again, they don't know what is necessary from what is not necessary in the way as being essential. Okay? So, basically, that's me getting everything off of my chest here, sir. So, I hope you're not too concerned, yeah, with all this foolishness that is going on, but I'm still going to be saying that prevention is better than cure. That's on a serious note. Yeah, I traveled today, like I said, I was over at Windrush Square, went to Brixton, playing the drums. Obviously, I have my bandana, so whilst I'm on the whilst I'm on the train, yeah, I put on my bandana, you know. But what I tell you, say, I so happened to sit in one of the carriages, and I'm fortunate that there was I will say like a barrier between me and the next side of seat, yeah. And then me see a couple come on with one dog. You understand? And then this dog just start jump all over that side of the carriage. Yeah. The person opposite, everybody starts stroke this dog. I'm saying, no. Me never said that. It came to in my mind. Yeah. It's what going. You understand? So me I wonder to myself now, shouldn't these dogs have masks on as well? You know? But then that is another story. Yeah? Another story. Not for next time, you know, because it's not something we really want to talk about. Because you see, if you talk about the English and them pet, that is like anti-Semitism. You understand? So I'm going to leave that one out. Okay? So, yeah, we are where we are for family. You know, we're in some serious times. You know, we're, you know, see the hypocrites and my galang there. Yeah? The countries all over is being run by fools and idiots. Yeah, and then it seems as though Boris is waiting to see the outcome of what happened in America, yeah, with the election over there. So we don't know as to whether what's his name is going to be trumped by the one Trump himself. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like they're playing a card game, you know, and this game is being played on us. Us being, we'll have to say the poor people, yeah, because I don't understand how this government can afford to have us in lockdown. They don't have no natural resources as such, you know. So I do truly believe that their intention is to wipe us out, you know, the same way you say Australia don't even look like the Aborigines had originally lived there. Yeah, they've done that to so many nations. Yeah, and I think right now they're gonna try and turn Africa white. You understand? Because South Africa never managed to do it. Zimbabwe or Rhodesia never managed to do it. Yeah, so the only way them can do it is by injecting with. Yeah, so those of us who is amongst them, we have a duty to stand firm and not to coward out. Yeah, we who is already amongst them. Yeah, because to all the traps set right now, for us to go to Africa, I feel so they're gonna have us as carriers. So they're gonna try inject with so we can carry it. Yeah, and anyone who would travel from Africa to come back here, so they're gonna try and inject with to just make sure that we can't multiply over this side. Yeah, so with all of those kind of things, I've got a guest in the studio who has arrived. Yeah, and he's gonna give us his spin on everything. Yeah, because we are in a significant time. This month, which has just gone, we had 2 full moon, right? So if you did once, if you use a sip on one side, that means you're supposed to sit through on 2 eyes this time gone. You understand? Because everything they kind of balance from beginning to end. Yeah. So what was in the beginning, as I'm say, so shall it be in the end. Okay? So I think I've talked quite a lot, through all of that. Yeah, and as I'm saying, I'd love for yourselves to find your voices. So I'm going to fling out the number to yourselves. And the number 079 444 31366. Yeah, that was the first time. Now, I'm also going to encourage you to get your pen and paper. Yeah, because me have my pen and paper, because when my guests they come in, I take notes. Yeah, because we're all here to be educated. So each one teach one. Yeah, I am just here as a receiver of knowledge. If I can pass it on, I pass it on. But Bless FM affords you the platform so you can hear and you can revisit us also on YouTube. Yeah, so that the information is readily available at your fingertips. Yeah, because what was hidden from the wise is now being revealed to babes and sucklings. Yeah, so youngers who are more computer IT proficient, you have to use this now as a tool. The information is out there for all of you. Okay? Right, so the number 07444 31366. That will take you into the studio. Yeah, where we are waiting for your questions if you so choose to find your voices. Okay, so I'm going to play one more tune and I'm going to turn to the book, and then we're going to bring in our guest who will introduce himself, and then we will go into the education. Okay, manners and respect.
A world without no wars, no boundaries, because we need to learn more of the meaning of sharing and caring. Everyone needs someone, yeah. Remember that to no man is an island, oh no, yeah. So don't be afraid to give a helping hand. Tell me, am I not my brother's keeper? Let me know. Show love. You got to sow some seeds. Love, yeah. Show love. Yeah. It's what the children need. Show some love. Show some love. Yeah. Yes, you know that we need all love we can get, yeah. Now together we go on. Our nation is so strong. Let us move on hand in hand to the promised land. Step in one accord, giving eyes to our Lord. No matter how times are, we must get our reward. Sometimes it's so hard to see where you're going, so you got to remember where you're coming from. Understanding is the only thing that keeps your world turning. Words of righteousness will always live on. Yes, they will. Show love. You got to sow some seeds. Love, love, yeah. Show love, yeah. That's what your children need. Love, love, yeah. Yes, you know that we need all love we can get, yeah. Oh, yeah. Show some love. Show some love. Everyone needs someone. Remember that to no man is an island, you know. So don't be afraid to give a helping hand, yeah. Tell me, am I not my brother's keeper? Yes, you are. Show love. You got to sow some seeds. I said it's what we need. Show love, show love.
Yes, family. Are you ready? Yeah, remember, I myself forget on the pens and paper. Yeah? Yeah, on the pens and paper. Right, so yeah, I'm turning to the good book. Yeah, and first thing I'm gonna say to yourself, judge not only what you accomplish, but also what you attempt. Yeah? Because in everything you must learn your lesson. Yeah? And insofar as today, where we're going and where we're coming from, remember your duties. Be worthy of your ancestors. Do honor to yourself and to your family. Okay? That is our duty. Yeah? So what I'd like to do now is to welcome, my brother, Galactic Clyde. He was here a couple of weeks back. And, he made mention to me because I had scheduled for somebody else was to be in the studio today. But he said that he wanted to be in the studio, and in a sense it made me wonder why, But then the fact that the timing is the first of the month, you understand? So it being the first, yeah, he's gonna give a clear perspective because there's certain things which are gonna also happen in this period of, over the course of this month that I think you need to know about. You understand? Because I'm only grasping the knowledge, and I'm so blessed and honored to have brothers and sisters around me who are informed, and informed to the extent that they're happy to pass on this knowledge to yourselves, my community. So without further ado, let me just bring in my brethren, and yeah.
Yes, greetings.
Thing, man.
Greetings. We are blessed up. We bless up. We are Bless FM. Blessing every time, So today is the 1st of November. And so today is what we call I'm just taking off my jacket, yes. Today is what we call Black Mystery Month. We got Black History Month just finished on the 31st, right? And Halloween.
Did you hear that?
Halloween, which is a very mystical time. Mystical because it's actually what is called the Jewish New Year, or very sacred because the sign Scorpio represents the mysteries of the mysteries, the cave, the sexual organs, all of that, and a lot more. Yeah. But as we enter today, which is November 1st, we enter what is called the Black Mystery Month. You're hearing it here for the first time, Black Mystery Month, because we need to actually look into the mysteries and the mysticals and the sci-fi and all of the things, the black ops and all of the things that are going on behind the scenes. Bring them up front because this is Spicy 2020. And so for today, the mystery person or our first mystery figure on the scene is South African Sangoma Sanusi, or what they call a shaman or mystical healer, by the name of Credo Mutwa. Credo Mutwa, or Vizamazulu Credo Mutwa. That's what his name, or awakener of the Zulu. The word Zulu means people of the star. Okay. Or people from the stars, yes? And so Krita Mutwa is very important figure for us to be aware of. If you never heard that name before, I beg you that later on I'll give you some links to Google and check out Krita Mutwa, or get his books that I'm going to be mentioning in connection to the Black Mystery Month. Because if it's one important person for us to know as African people, or peoples of the world in general, is the man Credo Mutwa and his information that he has brought to our attention, even though a lot of people still are not aware of these information. I came across learning about Credo Mutwa, and by the way, Credo Mutwa passed in March 25th this year.
Oh, so he died.
He's
born to join the ancestors.
Yes, he was born in 1921. I think 1921 at the 21st of July. Actually, one day after our brother Dougie.
Wow.
And the both of them died. Dougie died in March. Was it March Dougie died?
No, April, I believe.
They both died in 2020 or very close to each other.
Yeah. My cousin died in March 20th. And I think Dougie died the 20th. No, was it his birthday on the 20th of July?
Okay,
but Dougie was a month.
They died in close proximity, but they were actually one day apart, which was very interesting because I didn't realize that from before. So Credo Mutwa, July 21st, Dougie is July 20th. And July 21st is actually the 7 of clubs, while July 20th is the 8 of clubs, so the 7 and the 8. Yes, and I did a write-up on that, which I posted on WhatsApp. Those who know, you'll see it circulating on the WhatsApp in connection with him. What's so important about Credo Mutwa? Credo Mutwa actually break ranks with his secret that he was supposed to keep as a shaman, because he understand that the world is going down and we're dying in numbers because we don't understand the world in which we live and how it is, what is happening, who's in charge and things of that nature, which is very interesting because he had to break ranks with some of his secret in order to bring certain information to our attention.
Okay, can I just interject there and ask, what age was he? Because I will not get.
He died, I think he was 98, somewhere around there.
Okay. So
if you do from 1921, yes.
Okay, right. So you couldn't say his death was really premature.
No.
Of his revelation.
No.
Okay.
Actually, I could read you something. He died before that, and that's another mystery.
That's another mystery.
He died before that, and I could bring that to during the Soweto riot in June 16, 1976. Mutwa was attacked by a group of thugs who stabbed him repeatedly. He said, "I could feel the knife going through my body," he said, "The thing that always helped me happens." That's what his report. Which is, he said, "I split in two, and so I escaped the pain."
Okay.
What does he mean by split in two? He came out of his body. Yes, let me read on. He says, let me read. "The thing that always helped me happened then. I split in two, and so I escaped the pain. Looking down, he saw his own body, a bloody mess that looks like him," he said. "He was apparently pronounced clinically dead. On another occasion, Mutwa was almost burned alive when a group of thugs doused him with gasoline." So he's talking about different things that happened to him. Yeah? So, but one, that he was actually pronounced clinically dead. But he, and most people may understand this understanding where you can actually transcend your body, and that's what he did. He came out of his body because he was knifed and being attacked, and he was able to look at his body and seeing the bloody mess. But also by coming out his body is also releasing for pain. He says he's escaped the pain. That's his own words. Okay, and I'm going to tell you some books in connection to Credo Mutwa for those who never heard about our Baba, our teacher, and one of the most important figure, that we need to know about in connection to mysticism, the mysteries, shamanism, spirituality, and the likes, and also off-world. When I saw off-world, I'm talking about beings from other worlds. Very important, because he actually broke ranks in order to bring certain things to our attention, because he considered the world itself is dying because we're lacking certain knowledge, understanding, in connection.
Okay.
So
Alright.
I'm gonna, yes, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna say I'm conscious of the fact that we might give too much knowledge, and it's gonna be hard for others to decipher. Yeah, I'm thinking as to whether, obviously, the fact that you've taken advantage of the fact today is a Sunday and it's a first, so
Yes.
we've got to look at each month, which are the first, or whichever Sunday may fall on the 31st, to make. I'll try and make those days available so that you can break it down in sections.
Okay.
You understand? Because as much as I've asked the listeners to take their pens and paper,
Okay.
yeah, I can see it's going to be so informative that it might be overpowering. Okay.
Okay, I could simplify because I'm actually going to be giving them documents as to where they can find
References.
information and stuff of the like.
Okay,
Yes, so
okay.
I'll be making it simplified. That's part of my work.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
So I'm gonna read from one of his book, his own word. Mutwa claimed that much of the knowledge he possessed of art, science, medicine, engineering, and so on can be attributed to the fact that when he was a child, he was taught by strange companions. These little people, he said, some of whom were blue in color, used to make their presence known to other children as well. In fact, all African children used to see these things. Thanks to the help of these beings, he said, he was often more knowledgeable than some of his teacher at school. Very much a cosmic thinker, Mutwa claimed that many... Okay, so what he's saying here, I'm kind of going forward, but what he's saying, most of his knowledge was also attributed to beings like dwarf beings that actually teach them, and it's part of the knowledge of Africa that a lot of us in the West don't know. And case in point, those who may or may not be familiar with Malado Masome talks about these little people, as they're called, and one of the names that is used is Kundomble.
Well, it sounds interesting, but it doesn't mean anything to myself.
That's fine. It's always room. There's always room in the belly for more food, and there's always room in the mind for more knowledge. Yes?
Definitely.
So, yes, so he talked about his growing up and his encounter with beings. But he's also, a part of his writing, he puts a warning to us. Something that we should be aware of. And I'm going to read that out in connection. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Very much a cosmic thinker, Mutwa claims many of humanity's difficulty can be explained by negative influence of manipulative extraterrestrial being, particularly known as the Mountain Dane.
The Mountain
Dane.
Dane.
He called them the Mountain Dane. So I'm read. He said he claimed many of humanity's difficulty can be explained by negative influence of manipulative extraterrestrial being, particular the Mountain Dane, who shares the earth with us. So he said they're not from outer space, they share earth with us. They need us, they use us, they harvest things from us. It's about time, he said, that we acknowledge the alien presence on this planet. We are being watched, we are being explored and investigated, and we are being controlled, and yet there are those among us who refuse to accept this fact, he explained in the book called Zulu shaman. He's explained this in his book. This book, I came across this book in the early 1900s, 95, 96, somewhere around there. I came across this book. And I came across this book because there's a brother from Philadelphia named Henry D. Bernardo. And he was reading this book, but it was another title. It wasn't this same title, Zulu Shaman. The book was called Songs of the Stars. And what happened? The book fell from his bag. It's not that he was going to show me the book. The book fell from his bag, and I said, wow, what book is that? And then he gave me the book, and I looked at it, and I was like, who's this man? And, you know, I've since bought the book and read, and I was like, wow, this man is heavy. That's the early 90s, somewhere around there. And so, Credo Mutwa, I learned about him and always wanted to visit him, and I wasn't able to make that trip to South Africa to visit him. Now I got to visit him on the astral somehow. I'd have to figure that out.
Okay, well, obviously he's left some knowledge in the book. Obviously, again, for us to decipher, because unless you know yourself to the extent, you know, as majority then say of our listeners who are listening, then you say, well, why should we then trust this book? Or why is it you yourself believe in this book so much that you want to reveal it to our listeners, yeah,
okay,
on this platform presently?
Well, as I said,
what is going to be the benefit to us, the listeners,
okay,
of your knowledge gained from that book?
Okay. The thing about it, he mentioned a lot of African history that are not known to us. He mentioned his whole initiation, how he was initiated into the practice that is with his African spirituality. He mentioned what happens to him, how that went. And those of you who interested in that information, you can go onto YouTube, and the document is called Credo Mutwa Initiation. And you can learn about his initiation, where he's explained how he was initiated. Because when you've been initiated in African mystery or mystical system, you actually be open up to your God energy, your God essence. You're able to connect with, you know, everybody and everything, as he explained. You're able to split personality, meaning you can transcend time and space. You can come out your body and view yourself for who you really are. And so he talks about his initiation, the herbs. He didn't explain the name of the herbs, but the kind of practice that they do, such as putting a pot of herbs, the enema, and different things that they do to open you up to your true self as a spirit being, as a co-creator of this planet. And so I've been aware of his experience from reading not only the Songs of the Star, which is also called Zulu Shaman, which is the new title it's under, but I also read other books by him, which is Endaba My Children, is another very important book by Credo Mutwa. Now, in putting what is called the Black Mystery Month together, I become mystified by the information that I've decided to look at his Mayan astrology, which is fourth dimensional astrology, and I was blown away because he was born as a blue lunar storm. That's what he's born under. Right now, currently, we're under the blue lunar storm. Started on July 26.
Okay, so does that explain the blue moon? Because the blue moon is it?
The red moon, you mean? Well, we're in the red moon right now.
We're in the red moon.
Yes.
Okay, I thought it was a blue moon.
No. Oh well, that's what you blue moon we're under now. You mean the blue moon that happens? The full moon, blue moon. That's a different story. But what I'm explaining, that the year we're in on the Mayan Zolkin system is the blue lunar storm, which is his kin, which is his galactic signature.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And when I progress his galactic signature to the time that we're in, which is today's date, when I progress his galactic signature, I get today's date. Yeah, kin 217, which also blew me, because it's not only that today represent the current king that he's under based on his birth chart, but also today represent the one that he's born under. And so it was interesting because I was putting this information together, being the mystery person or the most important person of Black Mystery Month, only to find that the mystery points to the beginning of the mystery, which is very interesting.
Okay.
Because what we don't understand that he's saying, and this is information that's supposed to be kept silent and kept away from us, but he's saying that we are co-creators with a species of aliens, or a species called the Mountain Dane, which the white people or other people who are researching alien phenomena call the Greys. Yes, and he said those beings, you can find them in mountainous area, and he said they're much more advanced than us. Sophisticated, but they also have their mysterious or negative influence that plays out on us. And so it's important for us to be aware of that. And I'm going to be explaining some more stuff in connection.
So insofar as our own awareness, what is it that we can expect to see or feel over the course of the next month, that may lead us to have concerns, aside from the COVID, because that is mystery in itself. They're dealing with our fear or our lack of knowledge to a certain extent, even though, again, we're seeing that this thing has been in the brewing for over 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah? So what is it that the average person or the average listener listening should be looking out for, whether we're going to look to the skies, whether we're going to look through the actions of individuals, particularly those who are in authority, so-called power, in order to impact their will on us? What is it that we should be looking for, and then how are we going to better understand in order to deal with it, so that it doesn't instigate fear?
I'm getting you. According to the research and according to his teachings and what he's been explaining to us, that the governments of the world, and one of the things that we need to understand from what he's saying, that most of the time that we think that the leaders who are so-called leaders, they're not the front person, that they take their orders and their powers from other beings such as these folks. And that's what we need to be aware of, that when we think that is Joe Blow or certain people in power, quote, voting in power is the power, they're not the power. There's force behind these controls.
Yeah, well, I think
so this is why we need to understand that, because most of us are living here and think that we're the only species on this earth realm. And he's saying that based on the African history and looking at the cosmology and looking at the whole reason behind Africa, that we have lost the plot in terms of understanding why Africa have not expanded technologically. He explained that there's a reason behind that, and there's an occult reason. That there's a reason, and when we in the West thinks, oh well, we're backward. No, he explains that in connection to species and different connections that are, and different agreements that been agreed from long time that we're not a party to, or we're not aware of as, people of the West in that sense, or African people are migrating.
Yeah, well, it's been to our detriment, because I think when you look on the world, if you was out in space looking down, you clearly would see Africa is the head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you're gonna say there's a shape that can define anything that you can associate with the body, you would see that Africa is the head. So I am taking it then, because we don't know ourselves, our ingrained powers, because that's been denied us because of our being indoctrinated by Western theology or whatever it may be. We need to get to the point where we need our blessing, as I said.
Excuse.
We need to know ourselves, so we need to look internally, we identify to a certain extent with our nature, our true nature, and then from there we will have a better understanding. And further from what you're saying, we have got the likes of the internet, where the reference that you're going to give, people can also go and search it out to confirm and also get a better understanding, a more holistic understanding, because it's going to give you a reference as to where other source of truth can be found. Because the deciding factor is what you're projecting to the listeners out there, as well as myself. I need to know that it's a truth. Yeah, and that it doesn't remain mystical. Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah?
Okay.
So
got you.
Clearly you have had experience. Yeah, because experience teaches knowledge, and knowledge is the power. So you're sharing your experience, and for a lot of us, it's hard to understand because it's your experience.
Okay.
Yeah? Some might say, well, this man may need to be in an
An asylum. Okay. Well, let's go with the thing. In 1994, this is record information. A few ships came down in Zimbabwe, right near to some schools, with the children. And the children, there's a and this is 1994. 1994, or is it 1984? I think it's 1994. And what happens, a lot of the children were mixed. They were African children, they were Indian children, and they were Rhodesian children at the school. So there was a whole different mixture of children that saw the ship came down and saw the beans that comes out of the ship, and there's interviews about that, what happened that day. Okay, the thing about it, that we are so wrapped up in ourselves and human history that we don't even understand human history and the mysteries and the things that are happening behind the scenes, even by people who are giving us clear cut information of their personal experience. And what happens, because we don't have a personal experience of their experience, we're denying and we're thinking that it's not true in these things. But yet there's hundreds of thousands of people who can explain experience along these lines in connection, that we are not alone. It's historically been explained throughout history that we as a people are not alone on the planet. Not only alone on this earth itself, we're not alone in the cosmos, but we're not alone on this earth itself. Because you got different, in Ireland they call the Kundomble the leprechauns. They got what they call the leprechauns that they explain in Ireland. In Africa they call them Kundomble, or some people may say the spirit beings, or some people say Malado may explain his experience with the Kundomble, which means based on his experience he was being called by them to be taught. They've been teaching humanity for a long time. Now this is different from the mountain Dane. Okay, the mountain Dane, what he says, they share earth with us. They're not from another planet, they're from this earth. You understand? Okay, I'm gonna read something else, and then we can continue the dialogue, and because I want to just kind of soak it in. It says, Mutwa. Okay, I talk about the humanity. Okay. Matt, a writer who is a UFO investigator. His name is Matt Hancock or something like that, who does Passport to the Cosmos. That's his actually platform. Yes, and so he was talking about his interview with Mutwa. He said during the interview, because he was actually on his way to meet Mutwa when that incident happened, so he kind of confound the interview, or kind of connect. But he said during the interview with Mutwa spoke a great deal about tormented alien adoption experience that Matt, a world-renowned expert and subject, found difficult to take seriously. Mutwa viewed the world as mysterious and a frightening place,
controlled by alien force that possess far more knowledge than and are intellectually, technologically superior to humanity. Some of these beings, he says, are wise, benevolent, and wish to help us. But the same cannot be said of the mountain Dane, which people call the Greys, who are just as selfish and power hungry as humans. They preserve humanity, he said, in order to protect their own self-interest, because they are obsessed with self-preservation. This wish, he said, they wish to play God's own lesser beings with us and with them throughout the cosmos. Throughout the cosmic vice is the same. That means the same thing is happening on other planes. Yeah. Some of these beings, said Mutwa, have covertly, profoundly influenced all human culture and civilization for millennium. They have aided our evolution and help us survive by providing us with knowledge of science, farming, medicine, and so on. Throughout Africa, we are told that these mysterious beings taught human beings many things, right, Mutwa. They taught human beings how to have laws, knowledge of herbal medicine, knowledge of arts, and knowledge of the mysteries of creation and the cosmos as a whole. Some of these beings, some of them, the mountain Dane in particular, are part of the earth and should not be considered foreign. We and the mountain Dane are one and the same stupid race, said Mutwa. Far from these creatures being alien, they are our future descendants, and I'm sure of this. Out of the different types of beings that have been in contact with humanity, the mountain Danes are apparently the most important to Africans, who fear them greatly. Mutter described these entities to Mac as troublesome and parasitic, claiming that they instill superstition, sow discord, and may even cause diseases.
Okay.
I'll leave it
Right.
at there.
Okay. So, mountain Dane.
Yes, which is called the Greys. That's another word for the mountain Dane.
Oh,
African
Greys.
call them. They call them the mountain Dane in Africa or certain parts of Africa. Mutwa in particular.
Okay. So they are powers that align with our African true nature. Is that what I'm together from
No,
that,
he
that
said
is present, that's feared?
He said they are feared by a lot of the Africans who encounter them, because they're very much what he said, they would inflict disease, they cause problems, they even cause warfare and different things that happens. They know that when they would tell you from some of the research that when they see certain species of aliens, they know it's going to be a big war. And he talks about that in connection to what happens with the Tutsis and the Hutus in Africa, because just before that happens, there was a sighting of a certain types of species of aliens, and he said once they see that, they knew that war was gonna start.
Okay.
So there's a whole lot of history unknown to a lot of us in the West who don't understand this understanding that African, they have name for these creatures which the West, long before the West has understand or know anything about, but they were sworn to secrecy not to talk about these things. But Creator Mutwa break his silence in order to explain to us, and one of the books is with the Songs of the Stars, which is renamed Zulu Shaman.
Okay. So when you say us now, we need to relate our identity. We're talking as Africans.
Yes.
Yeah. So
well, no, when I say us, I'm talking about the whole world. He breaks his silence in order to bring the knowledge to the whole world, because he's, as far as he's concerned, the world is dying, and a lot of us don't know that there's disgruntled forces are pulling us against each other, and things like that are happening.
yeah, well, I still think we have to more or less still go back to the origin. You know, I think we still have to go back to Africa, because we're looking at the black mystery as to how we're going to gain the understanding of the world holistically in order to change our mindset, or for us to see more clearly what, say, this brother has gained in his knowledge, so that in the time to which we're living in now, we can understand if it's a virus, if it's a plague. Yeah, we have the insight to decipher whether it's for or against. If it's against, how it is that we are going to take the knowledge in order for us to move forward. What is relevant is the time to which we are in, or we understand it,
Yes.
to embrace it in order to move selves forward.
Okay.
Otherwise, the world is gonna.
Let me help you with a different scenario, since a lot of people come back from the Bible Belt. So let's go in the Bible Belt. Let me just tuck my Bible belt. So the similar things are explained to us in the book of Enoch. But instead of calling them aliens, they were called fallen angels.
Fallen angel. Okay, right. So you've drawn Enoch, but you know Enoch is taken out of the Common Bible.
Where the book of Enoch was found?
It was part of the books.
The book of Enoch, but where was it found? Where was it uncovered? Where did they find the book of Enoch?
Well,
the book of Enoch was in Ethiopia. That's where the book was found. So, in one sense, the Ethiopians knew the information, and that's one of the reasons, because they know how to protect themselves. The problem is, a lot of us don't know anything about this, much less how to protect ourselves from enemies unknown to us, such as the Mountain Dane or other disgruntled forces, alien forces. But in the book of Enoch, it talks about these forces as fallen angels.
Okay, let's get some.
So that would kind of round it up for some people who are more on the Bible.
The clarification that we need is: are the book of Enoch in the Bible, in the ordinary Bible?
No, it's a book by itself that you can get. I have a copy of it, and you can get the book of Enoch online and read about. Enoch talks about these beings and what was happening and what went down, and how we have to be guard ourselves from this thing, because it does come back around, and we need to know how to deal with these.
Okay, well, I'm taking it then that the book of Enoch in Western society would be a book that is banned from.
You can get it online. It's online. I have the book itself.
Well,
you can get the book of I can send it to you. I can send it to you tomorrow if you want to read it.
Well, it's as you say, it's online. It's accessible.
But it's not just about knowing and reading the book. It's about understand what they're talking about, and how to protect yourself from all of these different things that's happening. Because right now we're in a planned pandemic. Yes, and we know that this planned pandemic is linked with what is being drilled to us for a good amount of years called the New World Order. And so we know that the planned pandemic is linked to the New World Order. And we know that the planned pandemic is include technology, yes, and it also include the medical. We know that just the other day they just kind of fast track a law to Parliament, a so-called terrorist law, you can call it, because it means that the government now want to be able to commit terrorist act, torture, and all of these things on people, and they want to have the right to do so. This is a law that went to Parliament, and I think it was 313 to 87 in order, so it's passed, yet to be repealed. But what is happening, that we've gone down a whole different slope, and this slope has nothing to do with what they've been talking about, democracy. Democracy is in a chokehold. I don't even know democracy. It ain't gonna survive 2020 the way how they're pushing, because it means that
we've gone down a different road. We've gone down the new world disorder. Because nothing orderly about it. Because what they want to do and what they're planning, such as the pandemic, me with very minute information on health, and I say minute because I've been studying from since I was young, and I'm in my 50s. I've been studying herbology, and I still consider it minute compared to those people who are out there studying and also have degrees and such of the likes. Okay, me with my minute information can tell people what they can do to avoid the COVID. But yet, those people who are supposed to be knowledgeable in allopathic and all these different medical apparatus in terms of health and healing, all they're telling us that there is a planned pandemic or there's a pandemic, scamdemic, and all they tell you, wait for a vaccination. Something is wrong. Especially when at the start of this, January, they're telling you that there is no cure and they have not tested anything. They're not telling you they're going to test this, test that. If it was a hurricane, a different type of storm, they would tell you what rubber boots to wear, how to protect yourself, what to do and what not to do. Don't wait until somebody makes some special rubber boots. They wouldn't tell you that in a hurricane or a major storm. But here we have a medical storm, a so-called medical plan storm, and what they're telling you, don't use that rubber boots, meaning those herbs that are used for, what they call it, viruses. They're not advising you to use anything except stay in your house for 14 days, drink your soda or your rum, and just wait for 14 days, and if you don't survive, they bury you.
Well, I mean,
this is uttered nonsense, and we got to understand that there's more to the madness in terms of what happened. And we know that something is going wrong here, that new world order or new world disorder is kicked in, and we have to understand, just like what Creator is telling you, that there's forces behind the forces that are up front and personal with us, and there's other things that are going on behind the scenes. One metaphysical terminology says that what revealed tells you what hidden. That's a very important metaphysical or very important mystical understanding. What revealed tell you that what's hidden. And we know what revealed, that they lying to us about the death count, they lying to us about health and healing, they lying to us about so-called COVID-19.
Yeah,
and if it doesn't add up, then we need to divide and subtract.
Yeah, but a lot of people clearly, I can't say on evidence, because the evidence is not there, other than those probably if you go out and you engage and you see people in mass, because we are convinced, because of the so-called law, some of us, that we are to lock ourselves indoors. Yeah. Now they haven't.
I'm not convinced. I heard that, but I'm not convinced.
No, there's few of us. There are a few of us who are not convinced, because if you're in the know, yeah, then you're not going to lock yourself indoors. But because of the fear, because that's the only thing that they seem to have, and they seem to keep trying to instigate. Yeah, they've given us until Thursday, so that probably to judge our reaction. And the expectation again is that we are going to lock ourselves down, and we believe if we don't do so, there is a law out there that gives them the power in order to force us to lock ourselves indoors. These are the challenges that we need to dispel. Yeah, and we need to dispel through evidence. Now, from what has been said, evidence that you've referred to, which is to a book, a lot of us then say, from playing devil's advocate, are not able to break down, yeah, because we see this so-called democracy that is not existing presently, because these governments are commanded or instructed by other forces, and they're just like mouthpiece or shadows of the forces which is lying behind them, whether they're demonic or for the good then say, it's like hard for a lot of people to comprehend in this particular time. So we're living in fear, dealing with an invisible force, yeah, because we're talking about a virus that nobody can see. But at the same time, I'm looking like Jamaica as an example, where there's been so much rain that the expectation is, if there was virus on the land, how is it the breeze hasn't blown it away? Or is it the water hasn't it washed it away? Why is it still hanging about waiting for an injection? But people are still living. Yeah, they talk about the thousands who have contracted it, but the death toll is still 200. It hasn't gone into the hundreds or the thousands as you see in the West, and they say it's 1 million. So what is the difference between the death that has been caused, so-called caused by this virus, as opposed to the normal deaths? How does it tie in, yeah, with all that you yourself, yeah, have gained an insight and the knowledge of? These are the things that we, those who are not as informed as yourself, would like to know. We need for it to be simplified, so that we can better understand, so we can digest it. Because there's some probably listening and say, well, boy, Clive, it's like you have a very informed person, or you have a madman sitting in Brother Dougie's chair or Sister Leah's chair.
See.
You understand? But
Okay.
like I'm saying, yourself, somebody that I know to be informed, but I would like it to be more simplified, and let's deal with it 1 month at a time. Like I'm saying, deal with this duration of this month, the dates which are pertinent, yeah, where people can observe and see things are going to manifest themselves, yeah, and how we counteract these things, because governments are not talking about the preventative, the medicine, all of these things that I know you're into, the herbs, all of those things that would counteract, because we've developed a dependency on medication, yeah, and it's the medication that's left us to this illusion, false sense of security, false sense of trust,
Right.
in establishment, institutions, governments.
Yeah, we're going down another part, but yes, I know, and that's what the thing about it is, that okay, the people on the vibe of what's going on in terms of the pandemic, and I spoke at length in different platform in terms of solution, and with different people who also have solution. But I'll say to most people who actually fear the lockdown, or are preparing themselves for the lockdown, or whatever is going to get ready to happen as we move closer and closer to December 2021, which is actually the explosive cycle where Saturn and Jupiter comes together right under December summer solstice. I've said to people, in terms of solution, I want you to use Google as your friend. As they said, Google is your friend. So what you can start doing, and as I said that back in February, March, I was saying this on Facebook, that Uncle antivirus herb can deal with all viruses. Antivirus herbs, that's what they're for. So what I said to people is, go and study some antivirus herbs, because if what we deal with is a virus, then one of these or more of these antivirus herb would work. Case in point, Madagascar using antivirus herb, which is wormwood and neem, which they make what they call it, which is a malaria remedy. Yes, the same neem is called dogoyaro in Nigeria. Nigerian knows that as a very important plant that they use for, especially as they're getting old, to keep them young and to keep old age away and to keep virus and bacteria away from the system. It's a cure-all. That's what it's called in India, the neem, which is known as the dogoyaro in Nigeria, and there might be different names in other parts of Africa. but it's a plant that is grows all year round and therefore works all around the year to take care of the whole body. So I recommend people actually have a few different list of herbs in their house before or during the lockdown, so that if they come across or if they come down with anything, that they're readily available things that they can use. And especially when your sense of smell and your sense of taste go, there isn't a rub called aboliki. You can buy it from a lot of the African shops or continental African shop. Aboliki, it's about £1 or £1.50 for it. It's a rub with eucalyptus and different things that can help you if you lose your sense of smell or your sense of taste. Don't run to the hospital, because they got nothing for you, as they've been telling you long time. And as I've been saying, stay out of these hospitals, because they really don't got nothing for us. It's all about depopulation, and they're telling you left, right and center that there's too much people on the planet. Not because there's too much people on the planet, because they're greedy bastards, and they're so greedy that they want the planet for themselves, but they can't have it for themselves, because it's not designated for no one group of people, one race of people, or even one society of people. Yes, we all belongs, we all have rights to this earth, and therefore we have to affirm our rights and protect ourselves in different ways. So I'll say Google antivirus or viral herb, and you would see a whole list of herb that are considered antiviral, and those can help with different types of viruses, and some of them are more pertinent than others. But since they tell you there's no cure, you can do your own experiment. We know that thousands and thousands of people has survived so-called COVID-19. The sense of smell, the sense of taste, which is part of the symptoms of what they call COVID-19, the pandemic. Lots of people have survived. But where have you heard about the survival rate? It's not part of the list, because all you're getting is the death count. And there's a reason for it, because there's a method to the madness, because it's about depopulation, and a lot of them are on the whole tip of depopulating the planet. What you need to do is fight for your survival. You fight to survive coming here from the womb, and you can fight to stay around by taking certain portions or certain herbs and have a certain mindset that would help you in this time. But know this for a fact, that we're not alone on the planet, and I'm bringing this to the fore, and we've been manipulated as human for a long time, and this is why I'm bringing this to the forefront, using the information from our Baba Creator Mutwa in this book called Zulu Shaman, which is also called Songs of the Stars, and other books. He's all over YouTube. You can find a lot of his information, but one key information you want to get into is actually the document called his Initiation, and the other one called Zulu Shaman, because there are things happening behind the scenes that we don't know, and it's not going to come apparent. It may take another 10-20 years before we realize what's behind all of this mess that we're facing. But it's important for us to know where we're at, because he said a wise man knows his surrounding, and I think we need to be wise, and this means men and women, we should be wise enough to understand our surrounding and what's going on. And there's another document which I recommend by Creator Mutwa, if I can find it,
Okay.
which
Alright,
he
well,
calls
that might be a key to
Creator Mutwa, which is a very important document. Creator Mutwa, Clive. Creator Mutwa, African Ancient Alien Species, a very good document you can find on YouTube. Creator Mutwa, African Ancient Alien Species, because in this document it talks about one of the reasons why we have not, as African people, developed a more technical society in Africa. There is spiritual reasons behind that, and some people look down at Africa and Africans, but they don't understand where we stand.
Yeah, well, I would is that
Is that our caller? Yeah, let's see. You need battery?
Hello? I7 is Taras.
Can we put it live? I can hear you. 'Cause
Yeah, hold on. Let me see if I can get you live. Otherwise, I'll have to.
Greetings, 7. Good to hear you.
Hold on. Let me see what I can do. Yeah, just bear with us a moment.
Your phone is in charge. If he cuts off, call my number 7. Yeah, if he cuts off, yeah. Because his battery seem to be low. Are you charging?
Greetings. Can you hear me?
I can. Greetings, brothers. How you doing?
All right,
Okay.
greetings, 7. Good to hear you.
We're honored to have you.
I'm honored to be here on the 1st of November, Black Mystery Month.
All right.
Had to be here to share the space with you all.
Listen, I was hearing that James Bond 007 died. You
That's
know?
another mystery.
And that just kind of add to the mystery, and then yourself 7 have found in. You know what I'm saying? Because
You're kidding me.
listen, my brother is here is going so deep, and I'm wondering to myself, you know, are the listeners out there going to be able to take this in, to decipher it, to take it serious, and to be able to act upon it?
Well, let's start with you, 7. What do you say about this?
What is that? Because I haven't been tuned into the show, so I'm literally calling cold into the show without any background of what your discussion has been. So you have to give me a little bit of an overview.
Okay, well,
Okay.
it's gonna be, in short, we're discussing Black Mystery Month, and the mystery personnel, number one mystery personnel highlight for Black Mystery Month is Creator Mutwa, who's who's also born under the blue lunar storm, which we're actually in now, and actually his current kin, which is we progress his chart to today, falls on this day, which is very interesting. So not only the year highlights him, but today as the mystery person is highlighted under him as well. So it's quite an honor and very mystical to have that connection.
Absolutely.
Are you familiar with Credo Mutwa?
Of course. Of
Okay.
course. I want to say shout out to all the family, by the way, and everybody who's listening. I'm sending you love and protection, guidance to you all. You know, I think the importance of honoring the ancestors is paramount as we go forward. And Credo Motawa he's legendary. I mean, his work was well renowned.
Yes.
He was a very mystical, powerful. He's a prophet, really.
Yes.
I would say that Credo Motawa was a prophet.
Yes, he prophesied Diane's death actually.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
he had.
And some other
I
stuff.
think people knew. You know, he had a lot of run-ins with people because remember he had a necklace which was handed down to him.
The necklace of the mysteries. Yes.
That's right. And they stole it from him. They invited him to go somewhere for a meeting, and they took the necklace, hoping to get the powers from the necklace.
Okay.
But you see, they soon learnt that there's some things that you're not supposed to play with,
Yes.
because, you know, this particular necklace had certain, how can I say, it had certain powers downloaded, which
Yes.
it was only licensed to Credo.
Okay.
It was for nobody else was supposed to touch that necklace. So they soon learned that this necklace was going to be their undoing.
Yes. Yes.
So sometime later, they actually had to return it, and he got it back. It's
Oh, he
quite
did
an amazing
He
story.
did get it back. He did get it back.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes,
that part I didn't know. Okay, great. Did you know? Did you know there's a particular stone on that necklace? Did you recognize anything on that necklace? That particular stone from
Not
Zimbabwe.
particularly.
Yeah, well,
Which
there's a
stone
particular
was
stone on it that very rare stone that actually I managed to get a piece of that rare stone that's on that necklace of the mystery, and so
Okay.
yeah.
And what is the stone called? Do you know? I mean, do you know what its powers were?
It's called verdite.
It's what?
It's called verdite.
Verdite.
Yes.
Oh wow, I haven't heard of that stone.
That's a very rare stone, and it's a one area in Zimbabwe where the stone is being mined.
Okay, is it still being mined today?
No, not to my knowledge.
Okay. And what was the superpowers of this stone, brother?
Yeah, you need to look into it. But it's a very powerful stone, and that's why it's on the necklace. I think about 2 or 3 of that stone is on the necklace of the mysteries. So that itself, that's a very rare stone, by the way. Very rare stone. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the necklace itself was handed from generation to generation, and it's not something that anybody can just have. You have to have earned it. You know, it was part of his dynasty, his lineage, and they conned him. You know, the way they tricked him into the meeting where they stole it was unbelievable. And you know, he actually was well known. I mean, there was a lot of people from the UK and different parts of the world that used to follow him, and he's done. There's quite a few books.
Yes, we've been talking about his books. One is called The Songs of the Stars, and it's been renamed because I have the book Songs of the Stars in the 90s, and it's been renamed called Zulu Shaman, and by Vizima Zulu Kwedamutwa. And I actually have that book because Songs of the Stars, I lent it to a doctor and I never get it back.
Wow.
But it was a book where I could walk and read that book because I couldn't put it down from I started it, and it's amazing. But I'm fortunate to buy a copy of that last year before I went to Zimbabwe. So I have a copy of Zulu Shaman. I highly recommend that everybody gets a copy and read about what he says about other beings on this earth. That's as well as interdimension. Are you familiar with the Mountain Dane? Because we've been talking about what he said about the Mountain Dane.
Remind me. Sometimes I know about the story, but I can't necessarily document the name.
In the West, they call it the Greys. They call the Mountain Dane the Greys.
That's right. That's what I was just about to talk about it, actually.
Yeah.
Because he was one of the people that put on the map, besides all the other people out there, but he was one of the first melanated from our people to really document many stories of extraterrestrial beings and other beings in a way that was how can I say that we could download, could resonate with, you know. Because I think all across Africa and even the Caribbean islands, actually, many of his generation had stories of these type of things. Even my mother told me about these type of stories.
Okay, I'm glad you bring that up. Because I grew up on a story about what is called the Jack-o'-lantern. They talk about the Jack-o'-lantern in the Caribbean. And in listening to Krita Mutwa, he explained a alien or one of these beings which is very much symbolic or very much word for word what they consider the Jack-o'-lantern, and he called this being the Cheetah Woolly. Those are the ones that we call in the Caribbean the Jack-o'-lantern. I hear the stories of the Jack-o'-lantern, but in Creative Mutwa they don't call it the Jack-o'-lantern, they call it Cheetah Woolly, because he have a bright light on his forehead, and they always talk about when you see the bright light coming, you got to run for cover, or you got to get indoors because that's a Jack-o'-lantern coming. So I've grew up on that story. So yes, people think this is just just privileged to just Africa, but the Caribbean have a lot of stories about different species in the woods. They also talk about Laja Bless, they talk about Sukunya and all of these different things, and people have clue. A lot of our generation, they're so computerized, they don't know a lot of these stories, you know. People tell you when you go in the woods, There's certain things you have to be aware of, or certain things that you have to have on your person in traveling or being in the woods by yourself. A lot of young people don't know these things.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
I mean, we grew up because my mother used to tell us a lot of stories.
Well,
One
give us, yes, go
story,
ahead.
if I can recite it. My mother said there used to be this baby that used to walk at night, and it used to always be walking alone, and then somebody one day thought, let me go and see why this baby's walking on its own. So they said, where's your mother? Why are you walking on your own? And then basically the baby said, who tell you I'm a baby?
Yes.
And it ran, I'll tell you, I don't know, it was one of my relatives, I don't know if it was my auntie or whatever, but she ran for her life, because she realized as she approached it, it was not a baby, it wasn't even a living thing. So it seems like they can shapeshift to have the physical form of a human in one way or another. But then as you come close to it, that's when you realize that this is nothing human, you know?
Well, I've got a sister to hook you up with, because hopefully we'll be able to get her on the show to talk about this same story from a different version or different parts of the Caribbean in connection to the baby crying in the woods. And also there's other ones where men be out in the woods cutting grass or whatever, or looking firewood, and they would see this pretty woman, and they start following this pretty woman only to realize that she have a certain type of cow foot. One of the foot is like a cow, and it would take them in the woods and kill them. So there's a lot of stories along that line that a lot of people are not aware of, and people may ask, well, what's so important that we discuss these things? Because that's what most people would ask. What would that have to do with sliced bread or a food on the table? What people don't realize, that a lot of these governmental and a lot of these people in power have been controlled by some of these same energies or entities that we don't we're not aware of. And Creator Mutwa put it bluntly and tell us that the mountain deities, which is called the Greys, are very much controlling humans and a lot more superior in certain ways, and actually are working behind certain government forces or secret society and things of that nature. And that's why it's so important for us to understand and recognize these things. Even some of the cartoon he explains portrayed some of these entities.
That's right. You see, these things are very much part of the human condition as we see it unfolding. But most people have been programmed to believe or disbelieve that any of this is reality. But, when we look at some of the behaviors of some people, even within our own community, some of the behaviors is they're completely controlled. When you see our people behaving in demonic ways and malevolent ways towards one another, it is because they are taken over by these entities.
Yes.
You see, these particular lines, because obviously we know about the succubus and the incubus.
Yes.
I don't know if you know what I mean.
I'm familiar. Yes, I'm familiar. Yes. Yeah,
in modern terms, they refer to these demonically possessed people as karmics. Like a lot of the high priestesses and channelers. At this moment in time, if you go onto YouTube, there's a lot of people channeling what is going on with the karmics. And the karmics sometimes can have whole bloodlines.
Yes.
Where their people have been controlled by this entity. So this is why we see things like generational curses, because the same kind of entity will jump from one family member to one family member, and the purpose of these particular entities is to cancel out the rise of the divine. The rise of the divine, whether it be the divine feminine or the divine masculine principle, which is right now is on the rise, because it's nature and the divine intelligence cleaning up the act. That's why a lot of people are starting to tap into their spirituality. However, those of us who have taken the call, answered the call, and are holding the mantle to be able to usher in the divine energies and sacred principles, whether it be just the frequency of love, truth, getting in alignment with self, being in connection and communion with our ancestors. Many of the demonic spirits are aware of who the person in the family who has that on their birthright. Because each child has a calling. And the people who have taken up that mantle to be able to honor the divine principles back into humanity, which has been lacking for so long, because some people think when you say divine feminine, it means female. That has nothing to do with it. It's the principle of truth, love, peace, and justice, which is bringing the divine back into order. Divine order, because right now we're out of divine order. We have been for a long time. So there are some people commissioned within a family, part of a bloodline, to help to anchor in that frequency. And so these type of demonic entities come to try to usurp, block, obstruct that person from doing the work. So right now we have a lot of these spirits running around the place, which are working through people. You know, a lot of these people are involved in rituals, particularly now. You see now it's like Halloween. All of these times is when they're doing these rituals, sacrifices. This is the time when, this is like their Christmas time, isn't it? Yeah, so
because this energy, and as I was speaking to somebody last night about the whole energy of Halloween, we're in the sexual organ, which is the male and female sexual organ, at this time of the year when nature is naked. That's what fall is, the naked. So fall means that the leaf falls off to the tree and nature becomes naked. And as it becomes naked, it becomes, because Scorpio represents the motto for Scorpio, I desire. And so these are the best time for to use your desire for higher vibrational energies as opposed to the lower. But people desire the lower aspects, and people don't understand how to work with this sexual fluid that is actually connect us to the other world or other energies and things like that. Because the energy is ripe now to impregnate the world with our consciousness in terms of what we want to achieve or what we want to work towards, to, you know, to advance humanity or advance ourselves spiritually and mentally, as well as even physically, you know, things that we desire to have. But a lot of times we go after the negative part in terms of these things, as opposed to taking more of the positive aspect.
That's right, because Scorpio rules the sexual organs.
Yes.
But it's also governed by Pluto, but it used to be governed by Pluto and Mars.
Yeah, it's still governed by Pluto and Mars, yes.
Right.
And it's also ruled all the caves of the world as well, because it's the inner sanctuary in that sense.
That's right. And also, the wonderful thing about Scorpio is to do with death and rebirth. It's the transformative energy. That's why it rules the sexual organs. You know, so this is why it's so important for us to, take care, protect ourselves in this way of who we are engaging with, because you see, there is such a thing as sexually transmitted demons.
Yes.
You know, because sometimes, people think we just detect sexual transmitted diseases, but it's the demons that people are transmitting up to other people, and these things are real.
Yes.
They're real. They take over people. They control them. Next thing you know, these people are lying, thieving, cheating, nasty.
Well,
you know.
Okay.
And we're seeing that rampant.
We were talking earlier about the book of Enoch, because the book of Enoch goes a lot into a lot of these what it's called the fallen angels, and what we need to be aware of these fallen angels as they as they manipulate us on earth. And what I was actually saying, this is the link where we're talking about when we talk about the aliens. What would the name that we use now for these disgruntled entities or energies, we're calling them now aliens. You know, in Africa they have different names, such as the mountain dane, the cheetah woolly. They have different African have different names for these beings or creatures.
They call them karmics as well.
Yeah.
Karmics.
Yeah, but one of the things that I love so much about Creator Mutwa, he's broken ranks in order to bring this information to us so that we can be aware and also know how to protect ourselves. He talks about ways and means that we can have to protect ourselves. A lot of people.
So how would you say?
I would,
how would you,
because
what advice would you give?
I would give that on a one-to-one basis. I wouldn't say that on here now, because especially something important that he's mentioned, I would not say that because I also have to protect that in that thing.
Yes.
But people need to also study plants that are hex breaking and things of that nature as a means of protection, but also as a mindset as well. You know what I mean? Is the mindset that we carry also is encouraging more of the same. If it's negative, and if it's positive, is encouraging more of the same. So we also have to have a mindset that is very much positive, regardless to how, you know, we got to be like the Sphinx. Everything's around us change, but we still look into the east. We're looking to the light that is eternally comes and goes. And so that's the Sphinx. The Sphinx is always, it's the time lord, that time does not change. Because as far as the Sphinx sits there, everything around it changes. But the Sphinx knows that the light of the next age and the next century and the next great year would always come back. And so it looks for the east, because east is resurrection.
So in terms of people at this time, I mean, if they can't get to one-to-one from you, is there pointers of where
I will be yes, I will be bring certain things to their attention, but at this time on this I wouldn't explain. But because there's certain things that I need to do and get certain things in place before I could release certain things, and so it's like that.
Okay.
But yeah, we could one-to-one, we can talk about certain things. But I'll be coming on your show in connection to Black Mystery Month. We'll be doing some stuff anyway, so that's a mystery in itself. So let's just leave it like that for now. But yes, we'll be having some different things going. Yeah. But thanks for calling, and oh yes, I wanted to ask you: are you familiar with the brother Mitchell Gibson? Mitchell Gibson, yes, psychiatrist.
No.
Yeah, you need to Google him. Because he also talks about these beings and the entities, how we can see them in the body, and what we need to do to protect ourselves from them. Actually, there's a good mantra that we can use also, the BLESSRADIO something mantra, that we can use as a mantra that would help to protect us. I need to get you the mantra as well, yeah? Because he explained that powerful mantra.
Wow,
yeah?
That sounds amazing. I'd love to hear it. Thank you so much, brother. I really appreciate it. And thank you for the invitation. Thank you for sharing the knowledge, sharing the space. And to you, Brother Clive, as well. And,
it's my pleasure. I mean, what you in fact did is you gave a balance, you know, to the show, because it was just myself, my brother here, and, you know, as we say, the female energy is so important, you know. So I'm really humble. It's probably one of the first time that this phone has actually rung, you know. In all I'm telling, in the programs that I've been holding or having, you know, and so much so the phone wasn't even connected at the time. Not that it was deliberately so, but one of the things I was able to do this afternoon, I was down at Windrush Square, just paying our respect to our ancestors, and my brother Clyde here, the only reason why he's in the studio is because of the significance of the time of the year, you know. And I basically, who I'd had scheduled to be on the show this week, I've put them back a week in order just to accommodate. And again, because of the information that he has to relay, to the public out there, because to a certain extent, you know, I'm saying I'm here to learn. It's outside even my depth, You see, because it's very mystical. So I've lost to a certain extent that connection. And with yourself again, having spoken to yourself, the connection with you 7 is just so magnificent.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? So you know, I'm honored, and I'm hoping that yourself is well, good, kicking. You see what we're also doing with the 1,000 drumming, that we're causing those kind of vibrations. You know, myself and Clyde, we were at Glastonbury. You know, we're going journeying tomorrow to be in another place. You see what I'm saying? So, you see, he's got
this. My dad actually told me, I spoke to him a couple of days ago.
So you got it.
Last week. And he was telling me that there was some beautiful drumming happening recently.
Oh, yeah, you got to join us.
Yeah, well, it's part of our.
You got to come
tomorrow.
out.
We're traveling
I
tomorrow.
have to get a drum.
Don't worry, I could always bring your drum.
I need drum as well.
We just need your presence. We could always bring your drum.
We just need your presence.
Yeah,
you know,
I will definitely make it happen sooner rather than later.
In your time, you know, but the space has been prepared for you.
Thank you.
It's the same even when we were at Trafalgar Square. Somehow we were expecting to see you.
Yeah, I was expecting to go as well. I can't even remember what happened. Oh, I wasn't well that day. I had
That's fine. That's fine. Understand.
We're aware that things happens for reasons.
Yes.
Yeah, but we know, you know where to find us, because we place ourselves strategically.
Yes.
Yeah, so we do move mystically. You know,
yes, absolutely. It's a mystical time.
And what better time for Black Mystery Month but this mystical time?
Yes, absolutely. I love it. I love the concept. I actually hadn't heard of it before. Is it something that you're pioneering, or is it something that has been going on every month? Or
it's just kicking off. I'm just saying I'm a part of it.
Well, I don't know what to say, but things are just happening in the manner that it's happening. Because as you said, Wadada is one of our passengers tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know, we're all traveling together.
All goes well.
I love Wadada. Shout out to Wadada. Love Brother Wadada.
So, you know, we're moving in a mystical way. You know, I'm trying to understand, but obviously yourselves are clearly further up the road. You know, but I'm just the bridge at the present. But it's all exciting. Yeah, so just be strengthened, you know, and we look forward to the connection, you know, because they divide us with this Zoom, so we're zooming apart as opposed to together. But obviously they want to have the information that lies within us on that platform that they can intercept us, you know, and for that reason we have to, as we're doing now, we're downgrading, because the phones and all of their so-called intelligence is too smart in that for us it's informing them what we've already got, and we need to keep that for ourselves now because of the times which are at hand.
Yes, Seven, I got to ask you this because he come to me to ask you. In terms of an antivirus herb, are you into antivirus herb as they're trying to push this planned pandemic on us? Are you into antivirus herb? Because nobody's talking about safety method. Because as far as they're concerned, there's no safety method. The rubber boots is not made yet. We have to wait till next year for some vaccination that's not going to work, while all these antivirus herbs that have been talked about for centuries by different herbalists and people who's in the know, and none of these seem to meet the criteria for what they call it, pandemic storm, a planned pandemic that we're in. Actually, none of those are in the contest as far as they're concerned. We should wait for this rubber boots that is not being even created yet, or they're still working on for the storm.
People have been getting calls to come and get the virus.
Now, my question to you is your protection. Are you up in the ante with having certain things if you lose your sense of smell, taste, and all of this? Because we were talking about remedies here.
I come from a family and a lineage where herbs and medicinal, just natural, nature was very much part of our everyday life. It's not something that you have to all of a sudden start doing. It's something that you do. It's part of your existence. You know, I'm from the Caribbean. My mother was somebody that grew plants, grew herbs. She had very much green fingers. Green fingers run in the family.
Yes.
So, I mean, there's always herbs that I haven't heard of, as you know, but one of the things I will say is that just consider this. Everybody that is probably listening, including yourselves, at some time in their life have had a flu, even an influenza, and have known somebody who has had flu or influenza, yeah? And there was never a reason before to have to flag it up to the extremes where you lock down countries and you take away people's freedoms. You know, these things are part of the human condition. And as you yourself know, my brother, you know, nature provides everything for anything.
Yes.
Any ailment that there is out there, any condition, any disease that is in the body has an antidote within nature. Okay? So for these people not to be exploring any of that, but to flag up influenza that we have had for centuries, some people have died of it, but it was never a problem before. Also, we have to bear in mind that there are more people who die of cancer, heart disease, and all different other ailments. Yet, this thing is all of a sudden something that is so important that they have to take drastic measures. You know, some of the measures include people's freedoms being stripped away from them. I mean, last week I heard that even banks have been, you know, withholding people's money. And some of the measures that we're seeing have absolutely nothing to do with any form of illness or virus. This situation is being inflated. I'm not saying that people haven't died. I'm saying categorically, I don't think they give a damn about people's health. I'm saying categorically, there is another agenda at play, clearly. I'm saying categorically, what has morphed out of this situation, like it's called the covert human intelligence, sources, in brackets, Criminal Conduct Bill 2020. So that's the covert human intelligence sources, in brackets, Criminal Conduct Bill, which was created and it was passed through on the 18th of October. And what that bill is, and it's all on the back of this coronavirus, supposedly, it gives them sweeping powers to be able to torture, murder, and rape whoever they want to do.
We were talking about this. We were talking about this earlier, but let me just say this, and then you could continue what you're saying. The fact that the New World Order is coming in on sickness and disease, we know that we're dealing with a sick New World Order.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
The fact that they're landing on this is a sick New World Order we're dealing with.
That's right.
So they're not nothing good for us.
That's right. We have to recognize that this ain't nothing to do with protecting people's health. We have to recognize, number one, they brought this bill in. I mean, people should be up in arms about this thing, because obviously we know that they have been carrying out these crimes against us as a people for generations. The only difference now is that they're legitimizing it on the back of this so-called pandemic, scamdemic.
Yes.
Okay? Now we have to start getting real with the situation and recognize that these are dangerous people. These are dangerous people that are in positions that they should not be in. And there was a conference recently by some doctors
In Germany.
and scientists. That's right.
Yes, yes.
And
I've seen
they
that.
concluded the conference by saying, live your life. Stop honoring what these people are telling you to do. Do not shut down your businesses. Yeah, you see, the problem is the acquiescence. Because rule number one, a lawbreaker cannot be a lawmaker.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot be committing atrocities against people and then come along and make laws and rules and regulations and expect the people that you're committing the atrocities against to follow them.
Mm-hmm.
That's just, it's insane as far as I'm concerned. We need to start taking our power back. We need to stop honouring these wicked people, because that's what I see them as, wicked people, and I put myself on the record saying it.
Let me come in again. The fact that 313 people to 39 has agreed for this says a lot about our so-called government official. 313 people agreed to this law. Or been yes, well, whatever they pass it, the rule, yes, well, let's call it a rule.
They created it, so basically we have the people who have created it are the people who debated it and brought it in. There's been no opposition, proper opposition. There was no referendum whereby they put it out to the public. Do you want us to be able to torture, murder, and kill you and mess with your life? No, absolutely not.
That means it comes back to what Bob Marley says. Total destruction is the only solution. Ain't no use. Because you can't reform these criminals.
You can't. You have to get them out.
We got to get them out.
Get them out.
Total.
Get them out. That's the only thing that people need to be saying. Right now, I think yesterday there was a worldwide protest all over the world. Are you aware of that, brothers?
No, I'm not aware of it.
Okay, yeah, they had a worldwide protest yesterday. And since the protest that you attended and I attended the previous one, there's been a protest every weekend. So the time that we've arrived at is that people are awakening. We know that Uranus is in the planet of Taurus, and in fact we have a Taurus moon.
The sign of Taurus. You know, the full moon is right on Uranus. It's a Uranus. The full moon conjunct Uranus.
That's right. And Uranus is the planet of the awakening.
It's the awakener, yes.
Yes, it's the awakening planet.
Vizima Zulu is the name given to Kreta Mutwa, the awakener of the Zulu.
Wow.
Yeah, we was talking about that earlier. Vizima Zulu.
Wow. Wow, and that's the time we're living in. I mean, he handed the mantle to all of us.
Yes.
To carry it forward. And I'm very grateful to you, Brother Clyde, with you bringing the knowledge and the science to us and keeping it alive, because, you know, we have some very trying times in our midst, but we know if we look at the constellations and we look at the planetary configurations at this moment in time, because we have Capricorn is being governed by Pluto. Now Capricorn deals with the patriarchy and money systems. Capricorn is the father of the zodiac, and
Capricorn is the sign. No, Saturn. You're Saturn. You mean Capricorn? Pluto is in Capricorn. That's what
I'm saying.
Pluto is in Capricorn. And so, as you said earlier, Pluto represents death and rebirth. But what we have is the death of the government, and they're reborn into their rebirth is seemed to be very piggish and very much they rebirth into something that is really, I mean, they've been bad before, but this what we get in here is a whole different kettle of fish coming from, you know, these so-called officials, because at least you can see that they're coming in on a sick caravan, and that's all they're pushing is sickness.
Yes, so the platform
is not good, and so therefore we don't need them.
No, we don't need
because
that. That's
all
where
they're about
you
is balsamic lockdown. They're all about lockdown and sickness, because they tell you if you have COVID, you stay in your house and lock up. Trump and things spend 1 day or 2 days in his house and back out. And even this man over here, what's his name?
Johnson.
No, not Johnson. The royal.
Philip.
Yeah. He wanted how much days. He didn't do the 15 days as is recommended. So there's one rule for one and another rule for the other, and so
because it's
a whole. Yeah, they're making it as it goes.
They're making it up as they go along. Basically, what should be done to them, they are administering to the people. This is a house arrest situation of the victims. That's what it is. It's a house arrest of the victims of organized crime and all the kind of atrocities like Grenfell Tower that have been unaddressed. They know that the people have woken up, and the trail of recompense, remedy and justice is coming back to them. So before anything can happen, they're trying to put the public under house arrest. They're shutting down all the businesses, basically, which will basically put people in positions of poverty that have been able to do for self. You know, when we look at the program and the template that they're using, they've been using this against Africa and nations for centuries. It's a template. Yeah. Basically, they're fleecing all the companies, asset stripping people, and then they're putting them on furlough loans to put them in debt. IMF has been doing that to people for centuries. Well, it's the same program.
Well, they've been doing that as a means of controlling the so-called third world, who have always held the natural resources. Yeah,
that's right.
So we're at a point now where we're at the end of our tether. Yeah, we're all saying enough is enough.
Yeah.
To put it in its strongest term, we are saying to us, we are fed up and we need to do something about it. So what is it that we're going to be doing about it? That's what I'd like to know, because you say there's protests happening all over the world, but for whatever reason, they still have been able to get us to lock ourselves.
And wearing masks every day.
Some of us wearing the mask, taking away our independence, our means of survival, making a living for ourselves, putting us in debt. And it's going to get to a point that in order for us to even travel, we can't travel without possibly having an injection or having some form of a passport to say we have been injected. So their agenda is set. So how is it that we're going to prevent it? Because we're at the early stage. If we don't nip it in the bud now, because again, they're turning us against each other, because the only justification they've got for this so-called increase is they're blaming it on others who have not worn the mask. So those who are putting up any form of resistance are now having to be, well, not having to, but are being blamed for this new
reverse psychology.
Yeah, it's reverse psychology.
Yeah, I had a lady tell me this morning. I was in a shop and she says, I work for the council. And she said to me, "You're making it bad for the shopkeeper by me coming in there without a mask." And I said, and I looked at her and I said, some of us are exempt, and also and I said to her, also some of us know about herbology, and some of us also know this is all nonsense. I told her that, I guess they thought I was just taking it lying down and just leave, Shopkeeper wasn't saying nothing, but she's telling me I'm making bad, because what she actually saying, that the council is enforcing that shopkeepers make sure that that we don't come into the shop without masks. I went into a shop yesterday. The man said, "Can't serve me because I don't have no mask." I said, "Okay, thank you," and I kept going. He didn't serve me. I kept my money, isn't it?
Let's look at it this way. Before I come on to what we can do and should be doing, let's just look at it this way. They're actually charging people to breathe oxygen. That's what it really is. They're muzzling people, and basically, if you take off that mask, they're going to charge you. A brother said this to me, and I thought, wow, it's absolutely factual. Because basically, what they're saying is that if you want to breathe oxygen as a human being, fresh air, you're going to have to pay them. They're basically monetizing the
I see that. I see that. But more so than that, if you think about it, when we came out of the lockdown, everything seems over, and most people wasn't even bothering the mask. The mask comes in because they needed to keep up the whole thing that is still in, right? Because they know that it was too early for say that they got some kind of vaccination ready, and it would be hard to get people to own up to a vaccination if they don't get them in masks. So they've come up with a plan to make sure that people are wearing masks, so it seems like this is still going on. Even the numbers that they actually, now, because they're doing counting people who are actually all this testing, you're testing people who are not sick, and they're not offering no solution. They're not talking about people who have gotten better and what they have used or how they possibly have gotten better. So really, it's not about solving the problem. It's about let's detain them enough so that we can get to the point where the vaccination is ready and they can't fight against it, because we already have them in mass, and if we have them in mass, we'll get them into the vaccination. It's as simple as that. So
it is. It's a pantomime which people
if we say yes,
participating.
If we say yes to the mask, we're not going to say no to the vaccination. That's how they look at it.
Absolutely.
If you tell the person a lie long enough, they will believe it to be true. That's part of the Third Reich.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
This is like the Fourth Reich.
The first thing people, absolutely. We have to acknowledge where the information is coming from. That's rule number one. People are being told something is happening, but let's just back it up a minute and let's start there, right there. Who is it that is telling the world that there is something wrong, that there is deadly virus? It's BBC, it's the newspapers. Okay, so let's back that one up and start looking at that. Who are these people running the BBC? When you start stripping that door open and you're opening that Wizard of Oz, you'll start to realize that these people are involved in crime syndicates. They're involved in organized crime. They're involved in slave trading and trafficking and targeting of individuals. I've been targeted by them for 17 years, so I know. I sued these people, and I won one of the largest cases on public record.
Familiar,
if you want to be able to have a look at it, you can go to the Farrell report.
Yeah, I'm familiar, yes.
Yes, the Farrell report. FARRELLREPORT, the Farrell report.net. Now, when you read that report, you'll start to see behind the curtain, and you'll start to see that these people have been manufacturing terrorism, this is just another arm of it. What this COVID thing is domestic terrorism at its worst.
Yes.
At its worst. Because the worst thing that we can see is mass scale manipulation of people. Now, let me tell you this. Some people will say, I know people who have died. I know people who had it. Every single one of us know people who had the flu, who've known people who have had cold, who've known people who have died. Because many of the people who have actually died are usually people who have gone. There was actually, let me give you this scenario actually. They've been advertising for people to get tested.
Right.
And they've been telling people, go and get tested. So this brother had a cold, like he would have had a cold any time of the year. It's normal. These things have been there from time immemorial. So this brother gets a little cold. Had they not said anything about COVID, he would not think anything of it. He would have just gone and taken his lemon, his ginger, He would have topped up his vitamin C, and got zinc, etc., to make sure that his immune system is strong enough to fight anything. But instead, this brother, because of the brainwashing, he decides to go and get tested, not understanding that when you get tested, they're giving you the virus.
Mm-hmm.
They're giving you the strain because it cannot be passed from person to person. It's not an airborne thing that can be passed from person to person. That is written on the CDC's website. It cannot be passed from person to person. It was written on the British government's website.
Okay.
So if we know that this thing about 6 feet wearing a mask is a load of garbage. Alright, so this brother goes and decides he's going to get tested. Within no time, they've given him something while in the hospital. Nobody can go and see him inside the hospital.
Right.
He's not allowed to talk to anybody. So once you put yourself into their hands,
Death trap.
nobody, you're putting yourself into their trap.
Yeah.
Before you know it, that brother was gone. They took him out. Right? Let me tell you something. Had that brother took lemon and ginger at home with the cold that he had, sometimes we have bad colds. Sometimes we get bad flus.
Mm-hmm.
These are normal. The body can fight it. The only people that cannot fight it so good is if you've had the flu vaccination, because that compromises the immune system.
Yes.
Also, if you are at a senior age and you have a weak immune system and you have a bad diet, those people always will be susceptible to whatever's going around. Okay? Now the issue is they're testing people for what is natural in the body. They're not testing people for any virus. They're testing for what is natural in the body, and they're testing people for positive. Some of the people who didn't even go for the actual test, they're sending them a positive confirmation through the post. Mm-hmm. Even though they went there and they decided, okay, I'm not going to do it. Even people that didn't actually take the test have had a confirmation letter sent to them to tell them that they have this thing.
Don't forget that the papaya and the banana that they test in Tanzania, they all come down.
Right.
They all come down positive. So this is a one-track testing system. Everybody who tested is come down positive.
That's right.
That's how it's set.
That's right. And not only that, it's a 5-tier system. Okay, so 1 means we're okay, we're in the clear, everybody can go out and everybody can do what they have to do. 2 means, okay, we have to start paying attention. 3 means red alert, lockdown. 4 means emergency. 5 is like, okay, let's kill them all.
Yeah, injection.
And now they're saying this 5-tier system that they have going on is never going to end. They're saying we're never ever going to be without this virus. It's always going to be there. What does that tell you?
It just tells you we got to work a little harder and get these jokers out the way. That's what we got to do.
That's right. That was when I'm coming to the solutions now.
Man plan and God wipe out.
Let me tell you exactly. Let me tell you what the solution is. Are you watching these people on BBC? Are you buying these people's newspapers? Because you're acquiescing with your own demise.
Okay.
These are criminals. I'm telling you. You read the FR0M report and you know who these people are. You got to know, before you take somebody's word for it, you have to be able to verify that person is honorable and somebody that you should put your trust in. There ain't not one of these people that any of us can put our trust in.
Exactly.
That's rule number 1.
Yes.
If you have a television set in your house and you're watching it every day, you are complicit in this game. If you are listening to these people and honoring what they tell you, it's because you are taking in the brainwashing. These are things our ancestors were talking about, Black Mystery Month.
Yes.
These are things that our ancestors warned us about.
Yes.
Warned us about these people with forked tongue.
Well.
Right?
Yeah.
Well,
we've got historical document after document after document about what these wicked people do.
yes.
And we have their television sets in our house. We read in their newspapers and we're following what they tell us to do, even though these people are plotting our own demise. Wow.
Yeah.
That's rule number one, which you have to commend. Start addressing it there. Stop taking in the TV bullshit. Sorry to use that word, people, but I have to say it like it is.
Yeah, but right about now we're gone over our time, and we really appreciate you calling in and sharing, you know. And I'll be linking up with you, and we just keep it going, because we just gotta, especially for the younger generation who are just coming and, you know, are not aware of the world they're living in. Like I tell my children, the computer just came in. They think we have the computer a long time because they just came, you know. And then a lot of the young people who have just come into this world, they don't understand. And we that have the understanding, and we that are studying this thing, need to make these things available, need to let the young people know what's going on, what we're up against, so that they can frame their mind properly in terms of that understanding, because a lot of them come to help and sometimes they get caught up in the other side because they don't understand the game. So we got to make that understanding clear. We got to let them know what's happening. And so but thanks for sharing, and we're just going to keep it going.
Please, people, do the hashtag get them out. That's the only solution we have, is to get the people out that are criminals and try to replace them with new, more localized systems that are self-governing and, you know, that have humanity's best interests at heart. And with that, brother, I say thank you for inviting me on. I say thank you to everybody who's listening. Please protect yourself. Don't take no tests, and don't take no no vaccine. Don't take no virus in the way it's the truth, because that's what they're giving people, the virus.
Well, the ultimate test is for us to survive this. That's the main test that we have to do, and we have to survive, not following the trend, but we have to go against the trend, because the trend is not our friend.
Yeah, my sister, again, thank yourself for keeping it real, you know, because in keeping it real, you know, people will come to the realization. And again, for the report that you've referenced, you know, that again is a living example as to the journey, what you're also talking about. You know, I'm just honored, because I'm saying again, enough is enough, you know, but you keeping it real points us in the direction. You know, we need active, structured, supported solutions in order to deal with this. You know, I've got my brother here, I've got yourself, and there's others out there within the network. But again, we have to be very careful and mindful that we can't be voicing, you know, on this platform, because everything is just so smart out there that we've also lost that togetherness, because they've got a social distancing, and that again is a convenience for them. You know, that's why we continue as best as possible to meet in the woods. But even the woods the other day, the police came in. They came in. So again, we've got to formulate new strategies in order to deal with them. Yeah. So to a certain extent, they're listening. We're mindful they're listening.
They're listening, yes.
Yeah. So we've again started to identify our other senses, which is IT, intuition, telepathy. We have to revert back to our inner strength, inner beings, you know what I'm saying, to be able to link. So we need to internalize things so we can communicate where you are in spirit and in truth. We know where you stand, what your intentions are. So when we see, we don't even have to say anything. you know.
Yeah.
But I'm fortunate that we've got something we're working with. Obviously, the T-shirt is one of them. The drums is another. Yeah.
Yes.
And
but did you hear, brother? Just to come in about the drums, just for any musicians that are listening. Apparently, they're saying that if you are playing music or a musician, you now have to find another profession because they're going to try to stop musicians from being musicians. Did you hear that?
I didn't hear that one, but
I've heard something along that line, especially those people in the studios and even music. Those people who are DJs, they're banding all of these, and you know that there is something is going on behind the scene, because you know we're in a new 26,000 year cycle. We've just come to a complete of the 26,000 years, and so they want to dictate the next cycle, and that's not on them.
Happen. Well, we're going back to the original sound, so I don't
Yeah.
know they're going to be able to remove that one, because it's not like they can switch us off.
Yeah, well,
we gotta fight, and you know,
Yeah.
sometimes these things are necessary to wake some people, because some people are so are sleeping so hard that we have to make some elephant tracks in order to wake them. So maybe sometimes these things, as bad as it is, in waking up some people who are dead asleep.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
well,
Very
And
true.
so my grandmother said, "No bad wind that blows."
That's true. That's
Listen,
true.
my sister.
Thank you, brothers.
We have to go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so we
say
wish you
goodbye to
strength,
you.
powers.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And you know, more love. You know.
Yes, more love, more
ultimately.
light.
And
More
life.
love and protection, and you know,
Yeah.
let your lion self
Yeah.
come out, people.
Listen, come
Don't
to the
let
next,
these people
come to the
trample-
next drum
trample
circle.
over
Is
you.
come to the next drum circle. It's gonna be close to your area.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
And-
thank you,
Yeah,
brothers.
and we're
I
down.
really
We're
appreciate it.
downgrading, so we're not using those smartphones.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, we have to
Yes.
stealth as best as possible.
Yes, we
Yeah.
tune up our third eye and our natural skills.
I send you a
telepathy.
mental text.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. So
Beautiful.
we are.
Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, we are
Okay.
where we are.
Respect, yeah?
Yeah, respect,
Yeah.
more love. Yeah?
Okay. Take
Alright.
care, brothers. Bye.
Okay, bless
Bye,
you.
family.
Okay.
Take care.
Good.
Bye
Take
for
care.
now. Bye
Okay.
bye.
Bye bye. Yes.
Right, family. Boy, what a thing.
Yes.
Rise up this morning, smile with the rising sun. Really before it's by my doorstep, singing sweet songs of melodies pure and true. Saying, this is my message to you. Singing all the things
Yes, family, you heard it. Don't worry about a thing. Everything is going to be all right. But we're not saying to be complacent. Yeah, because we all have to do our own little bit. Yeah, and that is to liberate our minds. Yeah, I did telling you from before. Yeah, when they come with Black Lives Matters, it was always about us liberating our minds. Yeah, because the system has gotten into our head. But what is obvious, they show us that they've got a knee on our neck. Yeah, so they want to break with neck and they want to use us to do it against ourselves. You understand? So they want us to lock ourselves up, inform on our own family, on our friends, and do the dirty work that they intend on us by us on ourselves. Yeah, so I need for honor to understand that, family. I thank my sister Sevens, obviously, for having phoned in to give that female energy to balance out my brethren Galactic Clyde. Yeah, and again, as you see it, yeah, I don't let you know who is coming into the studio. Everything is mystical, it's a mystery. We can't be telling our oppressors what we're doing in advance, so they'll set trap for us, family. You understand? It's just the way I operate. Yeah, we're at a stage now where we're saying enough is enough. Okay? So for this week, you've had another mystical spin on RASSSS. Yeah, so to us, we're offering a real active structured supported solution. So it's important that we have, whether it's on the airwaves or in the studio, solutions for you. Yeah, one of which we hear is the drums. Yeah, you've got the internet that is out there. It's a source of information. Yeah, so as my sister had referred to, if you want to know more, then you need to look into the Farrell report at Met. I haven't even got the rest of it, but I've got the Farrell report.met. That may well be it. Other than that, I will get that information that again I can relay back to yourself. Yeah. Now, obviously, again tomorrow we're doing some traveling. You don't know, say our say Selassie's coronation anniversary. Which is it? Coronation. Yeah. So we're going to be celebrating.
A lot of food is well curry, isn't it?
Huh?
Coronation of curry.
Is it? Anyway, we're going to be dealing with that tomorrow. Yeah. And again, I've got the good book that what I will say, I'll just look on the back page and say love is the key to our destiny. Yeah, that goes without saying. And good is all. So where there's good in all of us, good will always conquer. Yeah. And my final word to you is going to use your time and knowledge properly to carry out honestly and diligently the task and responsibility entrusted to you. Okay, family? That's what I'm entrusted into your care, your hands for this night. Yeah? That you've been educated. Remember, I asked you was to get your pen and your paper. I'd also asked for you to find your voice. But fortunate, Bond stepped in. 7007 stepped in. And again, the reality out there, you hear they announced it over the weekend, the one Sean Connery has passed. He's also gone on to join his ancestors. Yeah, so whatever the signs are around and about us, we have to keep it real. Yeah, we were at Brixton, Windrush Square, paying our respect to our ancestors. So it's not even our fight. Yeah, you need to look into Ezekiel and understand the valley of the dry bones. Yeah, are we going to put meat, muscles, and flesh on those bones so our ancestors can do the fight? But again, you, us, we, us, have got a role to play. Yeah, so I'd like to thank my brother Galactic Clyde who's with me in the studio. And I'll leave you to have a few little words if you want, otherwise I'm done.
Yeah, no, I just say good thanks. As I said, there's some videos and things and books that people can get, which is referred back into the show. If you missed the show, you can always listen to it because it's on YouTube. Yes?
Okay.
And so, more love, more light. It's Black Mystery Month.
Okay, and the other thing is, remember, if you ain't got your t-shirts, you need to get your t-shirts, and I hope you know where to get your t-shirts, because these t-shirts, they're so powerful in the statement that they say, that we don't want them to be on just anybody's backs, okay? So I hope you understand that. So more love, more joy, my people, so until next time, I will just play you.
So let the wicked perish at the presence of God. But let the righteous be glad. Let them rejoice before God. Yes, let them exceedingly rejoice. Sing unto God. Sing praises to his name. Extol him that rideth upon the heavens by his name. Jah! Rastafari, Haile Selassie the first. The Father, strength and Redeemer, who lives and rules and reigns for all of these things. The Father of the fatherless and the Judge of the widows is God in his holy habitation. God set up the solitary families. We behold those which are bound with chains. The rebellious dwell in dry land. O God, Rastafari, Selassie, Father, strength and Redeemer, when thou wentest before thy people. When thou did march through the wilderness sea, the earth shook, the heavens also dropped at the presence of God. Even Shinar itself was moved at the presence of God, Rastafari, Selassie first, the God of Israel. O God, Rastafari, Selassie, O Father, strength and Redeemer, did send a plentiful rain, whereby thou did confirm thine inheritance when it was due. My congregation has dwelt therein. O God, Rastafari, Selassie, O Father, strength and Redeemer, has prepared of thy goodness for the poor. The Lord God, the Almighty, Selassie, O Father, strength and Redeemer, gave the word. Great was the company of those that published it. Kings of armies did flee apace, and she that tarried at home divided the spoil. Though ye have lain among the rocks, yet shall ye be as the wings of a dove covered with silver, and her feathers of yellow gold. When the Almighty God, Rastafari, Selassie, O Father, strength and Redeemer, scattered kings in it, it was white as snow in Salmon. The hill of God, Rastafari, Selassie, O Father, strength and Redeemer, is as the hill of Bashan, and high hill as the hill of Bashan, why it leads high hills. This is the hill which God, Rastafari, Selassie first desireth to dwell in. Yea, the Lord God, the Almighty, Selassie, O Father, strength and Redeemer, will bring it in forever. The chariots of God are 20,000, even thousands of angels. The Lord God, the Almighty, Selassie, O Father, strength and Redeemer, is among them, as in Shinar, in the holy place. Thou hast ascended on high, thou hast led captivity captive, thou hast received gifts from man, yea, for the rebellious also. But the Lord God, the Almighty, and Selassie, O Father, strength and Redeemer, might dwell among them. Blessed be the Almighty God, Rastafari, and Selassie, O Father, strength and Redeemer, who daily leadeth us with benefits, even the God of our salvation, Selah. He that is our God is the God of salvation, and unto God, Rastafari, and Selassie, O Father, strength and Redeemer, Lord, belonging to the issues from death. The Lord God, the Almighty, and Selassie, O Father, strength and Redeemer, shall rule the head of his enemies, and hear his scalp of such an one as goeth unstill in his trespasses.
Try tomorrow, I got chant down. Gonna chant down. You don't know. Respect and manners, Ross Chubby and the rest of the family. Everybody, bless up the station for know thyself and you for know yourself better. I hope you get a better understanding as to the powers that lie within on yourself. Manners and respect. Till next time, yeah? Bless up. More love, more joy.